Hey, good morning or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us. Thanks for taking the time to listen to us. I'm Chris Hill. I'm with the marketing team at Taqtile, and we have a great session planned for you. About 30 minutes of talking, and then plenty of time for Q&A at the end. We're going to be discussing the Rapid Insights program. This is something that we recently launched, and we're engaged with a number of organizations, helping them create and improve the value of digital work instruction. I just want to let you know that this session is being recorded, and there'll be plenty of opportunity for Q&A at the end. So let me turn it over to Joe Kluke, our head of sales, to start the introductions.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Joe Kluke. I lead North American sales and operations here for Taqtile. I'm mostly just here to listen in today and be an observer, but certainly will be available for any questions at the end of the webinar. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll pass it over to Andrea.
Hi there, I'm Andrea Marks. I oversee our customer success team here at Taqtile. I've been with Taqtile for over 10 years, and I've delivered some version of this program over the past 5 years, and I'm really excited for the opportunity to talk with you all today about how the program has matured, and also look forward to the opportunity to partner with you to help deliver some real quantifiable results to your business. Over to you, John.
Thanks, Andrea. So I'm John Mathieu, Global Sales Director based in Paris, France. So welcome to the Europeans that have joined this evening. We got lucky because it's an hour earlier because the US is on daylight savings. We won't have that for another week or so. So this is great. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Certainly the importance of digital work instructions. I think people wouldn't be on this call if they didn't recognize that importance, but we're going to talk about some of the challenges that we have seen in creating those and what we can do to mitigate those challenges with our products. We're going to dive into our Manifest solution itself. For those of you that have never heard of us before or perhaps need a little refresher as to what Manifest is all about, we're going to take some time to do that. And then we're going to have Andrea join back in and walk us through the details of our Rapid Insights program. And then we'll wrap up with next steps and then open it up for Q&A. As I said, people are here to talk about digital work instructions. Really, what does a digital work assistant do? Why is it important? And it's clear that with the right content, you can solve quite a few problems in terms of reducing errors and other things we'll talk about in just a second. But the challenges are really around how to get started. I think everyone here has an interest in seeing how to really figure out exactly what this could look like going forward. And that's really around how to capture the content and making sure that you're getting not only kind of step-by-step procedures inside of Manifest, but also some of that secret sauce of your subject matter experts and how you can sprinkle that secret sauce over those digital work instructions. So it's not just a digitization of a manual, but actually is how an expert would do a job and then allowing other people to follow along in the same way. And then really, what does it do? What does it mean to take an idea and turn it into a successful pilot? And then throughout that pilot, really understand what has been achieved. Have we really talked about what the goals are at the beginning? Did we meet those goals at the end? Super important as you envision how to actually get started in an endeavor like embracing and using Manifest. Go ahead, Chris. Quite a few people probably know about Taqtile already. I'm sure most folks have been to our website. Maybe some of you have even talked to us in the past. But we have been doing this as long as humanly possible. Andrea has me beat by 4 years, I think, maybe 3. We have really embraced spatial computing at its outset, or really when it was introduced to the world with Microsoft, being on stage with them when they announced and really showed the world what spatial computing was all about with HoloLens 1. Certainly, since that time, we have grown the company significantly. If you joined us a little bit early, you might have seen one of those slides that was spinning by talking about the awards that we won. We're very proud of that. Equally proud of the partners that we have made over the years. I know we have some of those partners represented today, so thank you very much for joining. And then ultimately, we wouldn't be anywhere without these incredible customers. And these customers have really taken a step that we're all together envisioning today. How did they actually get started? What did they find intriguing about what Manifest could do to help solve their problems? And then why they continue to work with us year after year, and how have we really grown this customer base? So throughout all of that experience, we've really learned how to introduce something that makes sense and introduce it in a way, though it's change management, it's new technology for a lot of folks, and really figure out exactly what success can look like at a very early days type of experience over a matter of weeks. And so really the landscape of the solution is really in these kind of three quadrants. This is where we meet some of our customers. A lot of folks come to us from a purely traditional pen and paper. I think when we started with the US Army 5 or 6 years ago, they were pen and paper, and they've made all the leap to modern. Some folks have actually gone from pen and paper to digital, essentially just an electronic PDF on a tablet, which can be great, but it's literally the same thing. It's just walking people through what a step is, continuing to show the what as opposed to the how. And that's really the big differentiator with what Manifest can do. It's not just the what, it's how people perform these tasks. What is the subject matter expertise that's been woven into that step-by-step instructions that allows them to really perform at an expert level? And throughout the course of building this modern experience, we fully embrace all of the platforms or devices you see here in the right-hand side of the slide. We're very well represented on the Apple ecosystem. So it's iPhone, iPad, certainly Macs, and then of course, Apple Vision Pro. And then we have other head-mounted devices that we can certainly discuss. And we have great experiences with all of them. But it's really about figuring out what is the right device for your use case. And that's one of the reasons you do this Rapid Insights program. I'm going to start calling it a RIP. So if you do a RIP to determine exactly what is the best use of these devices for the use case that you identified throughout the process of the RIP. And again, we're going to talk in more detail on that in just a second. So it's really thinking about Manifest as that all-in-one operational tool. And it's made up of these things on the left. So it's the emerging technologies, our ability to work with AI for the content creation piece, the ability to integrate to back-end systems like SAP or really any ERP system that you have today. It's capturing sensor data from IoT. Of course, it is supporting digital twins, and we can talk about 3D models. Though a lot of our customers might begin with 3D models, but then ultimately decide that a picture and a video actually goes a lot further. And then certainly the devices that I showed earlier. The content comes from what exists today. You have SOPs that you want to get ingested into Manifest, that can happen. You have the PDFs that might have to go along for the ride. We can present those as well. And then really it's supporting kind of that traditional digital content with all of this rich media. So it's the photos, the videos, the audio notes, in some cases using some augmented reality notes or animations around what you're working on, if that helps provide better expertise for completing that task. And then certainly always having that traditional digital content available with a PDF, which we call a bookmark once it's inside of Manifest. The operational data speaks for itself. This is a tool built for operations. So we want to give the user the really easy ability to create evidence, identify faults. We can build some performance metrics around their efforts inside of Manifest, the work history, the asset history of what they're working on. All of that is part of Manifest as well. And ultimately, it really comes down to not just the what, the how. And the how is made up of the expertise. And all of this goes into an editorial dashboard. We can figure out exactly where that content should be placed. And it creates a digital work assistant that anyone can use. We talk a lot about how easy it is to get started with Manifest, no matter what device you've chosen. We're highlighting the iPad here today, which is a fantastic device. And it's very easy, very intuitive to work through an iPad or any of the other devices we have to achieve the results that you're going after. And again, all of this is part of that RIP experience. So we can work with you hand in hand to make sure that you're getting exactly what you want. Just checking the time here. So we're going to dip into a couple of the use cases. Of course, we're not limited to these, but this is where most of our customers kind of land with us around inspections, certainly maintenance, anything on a factory floor, I think is super, super important. And then quite a few of our customers actually begin with us in training. They really want to understand exactly what the value is of the content they're creating. And the best way to articulate or really show that value is to take someone from nothing to something. And so we really help a lot with that training. And the best thing about the training content is it provides what I like to call a continuity of experience. And I apologize if folks on the call have heard me say this before, but it really is a continuity of experience from that training all the way to the operational factory floor, for example. Everything that they've seen in training is exactly what they're going to be using when they hit that factory floor. So I think our next slide is actually a video. Chris, go ahead, jump into that.
Maintenance with Manifest. Get the job done right the first time. The Manifest Work Assistant platform gives workers the capability to accomplish preventative, routine, and break-fix maintenance with improved accuracy while working independently. Maintainers efficiently follow work instructions to perform routine, complex, high-risk, or infrequent tasks. Required evidence of photo, video, text, or audio assures accurate step completion and drives accountability. Integrated communications allow workers and experts to collaborate in real time. See what IC capabilities empower experts to remotely obtain context and offer situational guidance. Comprehensive fault management reduces repair time and increases machine uptime. Custom fault codes can be defined to drive uniform reporting. With Manifest collecting data as technicians work, closeout packages can be automatically or quickly generated for immediate delivery and continuous process improvement. Manifest APIs integrate with existing LMS, ERP, and work order management systems like Oracle Primavera, SAP, ServiceNow, and Microsoft Dynamics. This enables real-time data synchronization and easy corrective work order issuance for quicker resolution times. Manifest goes beyond step-by-step guidance. It can capture detailed work history and asset maintenance records, as well as job performance data, creating a comprehensive digital log for every task and piece of equipment. Supervisors track maintenance progress and equipment faults to keep the workforce moving fast and reducing errors. Taqtile. Empower the doers.
All right, so just a short video to kind of show everywhere, not everywhere, but quite a few places where Manifest can be found in the world today. And so it's really, I think, a great showcase of really what we are. How we're different is important too. So we are designed as a complete operational tool. So this is an enterprise level application that has the ability to tie back into other enterprise level applications. So it's not meant to just be a standalone kind of new technology you introduce to the workforce. It's really supposed to be woven into how you perform tasks at every level. It has a benefit of being an enterprise scaled application. It is built to scale. So really identifying user roles, the editorial controls around the content itself, the way that we manage asset classes and assets, the flexible deployment that we have across many devices, and of course that integration at the API level is also very unique to Manifest. Again, we started with spatial. Everyone was blown away with what a hologram was way back when, but we continue to support those, of course, but it's just as important to understand the value that can be made through that ancillary content like pictures and videos. And when you are running things on a tablet, having all of that data going far beyond any kind of digitized manual on, say, an iPad is super, super important. We're able to present that in a way that is very consumable and really helps people get the job done right the first time. And then we talked about it over and over again, but the ease in which people are able to create the content is real unique experience to Manifest and Manifest Maker, our sister application. And you can see the large yellow graphic in the lower right-hand corner. We can download Manifest Maker for free today on the iPad or the iPhone. You just go to the App Store, look up Taqtile, and then you'll find Manifest Maker. So it's super easy to get started. You can begin creating content without even contacting us. So we'd, of course, love to hear from you because it's a free app. So you can just have at it as you like. I think we're going to switch now and get into a little bit more information on the RIP. So I'm just going to quickly say pretty much the bullets of this slide. It's really around everything that I've said already, the expert knowledge capture and resilience, the procedural accuracy, the error reductions. You can read it yourself. And it really, this is the opportunity. You can begin creating content today with our free app. And of course, we want to follow up with you and engage you in a rapid insights program, which Andrea will go into detail just now. Go ahead, Andrea. Or is this on me? Oh,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
So this program, like I said, I have delivered some version of this program for the past 5 years, and the program has matured. And the goal really is to help our customers de-risk any initial assessment of not only Manifest, but also for forward-thinking customers that are interested in experimenting with the head-mounted device market. This gives you an opportunity to look at where we are today and where we might be as that market matures. But the end goal really here is just to prove manifest value quickly. And we want to partner with you to quantify that. So that means that in addition to being able to assess the solution, the hardware, we want to drive some real quantifiable business value that would demonstrate how you could easily recoup your investment in manifest quickly. Additionally, we work with you to capture actionable and shareable insights. So that can include partnering with the end users, surveys, net promoter score, data collection, things like that, to make sure that we're understanding what was the value to the business, what's the value to the end user, and how can we scale that within your organization. And then last, just really accelerate short-term deployment and adoption. So what you'll get as part of this program is access to manifest experts like me. You'll get a unique domain and trial user licenses. Another uniqueness of this program, or in a way it's matured, is that we are not going to restrict that license count. So it will allow you to really test the solution in an operational sense. So historically, you might have been restricted by, say, 5 licenses that were part of your package. Now we want to give you the flexibility to try that at scale or model that at scale. So that's another unique element of this program. We'll help you with a structured and managed assessment. So whatever this looks like, or whatever KPIs we set out to prove, we would help you tailor an assessment to make sure that we're gathering data, whether that's an A/B test. Again, if we have to look at surveys, if we're looking at error reduction, whatever that might be, we'll help you deliver that. We'll capture that content with you and make sure that you leave the program with some captured content and digital work instructions. So well-documented procedures that you're welcome to carry forward in your manifest engagement. And then at the end, a deliverable that's really a comprehensive report, including where we started, what we did and how we did it, and what we learned. So that can include metrics, data on KPIs, videos, and any other shareable insights that are beneficial to help you evangelize the solution internally and drive adoption at scale. Go ahead, Chris. So I just wanted to illustrate that the process is really evergreen and can be evolutionary. It's just nonlinear. And I think that's important for people to note, that we can constantly evolve and iterate and get better. So we always start with a preparation phase. And specifically in delivering this program, I find this to be paramount, so that we're making sure that we have everything lined up we need to prove success quickly. So if you have equipment that needs to be taken offline, or subject matter experts that need to be made available, we'll help you plan and schedule all that so that there's no cost to your business. And like I said, taking that equipment offline, if there's aircraft that needs to be grounded or subject matter experts that need to be pulled from a shift, we want to make sure that's well lined up so that it's not a hindrance to your existing operation. Once we've got all that teed up, we'll go into a creation phase where we'll create some of that content, really document what it is that we're trying to do, get everything that we need in manifest, and then operate against that content that we created. And that's where we'll start to see some of that data that hopefully proves out some of those KPIs or success metrics that we established during the preparation phase. And then last but not least, just calling out that we'll evolve on that. For example, we could operate against a procedure for a week and get a ton of feedback from that workforce that says, yes, this is great. Perhaps maybe we're content heavy and we're hindering their ability to perform the procedure. We can iterate on that content very quickly and push it back out to that workforce within a shift or less to make them operational against those changes. But I think that as you look at adoption, whether you take a phased approach or a scaled approach, this kind of cyclical method really shortens time to value, but also really leans into the fact that we can offer continuous improvement to your business. So just in summary, this program specifically is really designed to help people quickly uncover the benefits of manifest and assess that value, and then capture those actionable insights to share. So what we're really hoping to leave you with is 1, great results, and 2, deliverables that can help you evangelize those results within your organization. So during the time, it would be a focused engagement with, like I said, access to Taqtile subject matter experts, additionally to our product experts. You'd have a unique manifest domain, and again, however many licenses you need to prove out your KPIs. We'll have documented procedures at the end, and then we want to look at what is it that we're trying to prove. Did we reduce an error rate? Did we decrease task completion time, make progress on first pass yield, decrease safety incidents? Did we have increased worker engagement, or even just positive worker feedback, and other comparative tests? At the end, we'll furnish you with a post-program deliverable, and we'll make sure that's tailored or white labeled to your business. And then there's an opportunity for discounted licenses as well. Back to you, John.
Sorry, I was on mute and my camera was off. So let me reset here. Sorry about that. Actually, before we go to the summary, I think I skipped a slide. Chris, do we want to just show the devices slide? Because I think there's an important note on that. I apologize to everyone because I was going too fast. Of course, we have these devices in front of us. I think it's just pretty much everyone under the sun. Certainly heavily weighted toward the Apple ecosystem. Particularly proud about the work we're doing with iPhone and iPad and Apple Vision Pro and Macs. And though there are some devices on the right side that are absolutely going away, one in particular, some of the other devices might not be right for the use case that you have in front of you for any kind of myriad of reasons. What we have found is starting with the iPad is a great way to begin. It's a lower cost device. Yes, you're holding on to it, but the experience is fantastic. If you want to incorporate Apple Vision Pro together with that iPad experience, go for it. We're fully supporting that as well. And so really what we want to do is provide the opportunity for you to get in this at the lowest cost possible and still have a really terrific experience. And so we are leading with iPad in this case because we find it checks a lot of the boxes you need, especially when you're trying to figure out really how to get started and really incorporate this significant change management if you choose to scale. So I wanted to make that very clear. We can go back to the final slide, and then really it's just a summary. This is not about testing technology. It's really about discovering insights. So if you have problems, a lot of things we talked about at the beginning, higher error rates, maybe you're losing a lot of people through attrition, all your subject matter expertise or experts are walking out the door because they have more gray hair than I do, et cetera, et cetera. This is a great opportunity to capture all that subject expertise and really make sure it's available for your workforce in the coming years. Start with devices that are in use today. I already talked a little bit about iPad. Wonderful experience. If you have iPad, you have another one of those devices. We can begin wherever you are today. And then it's really, we've been at this a long time. We know what we're doing. And though we still learn with customers, we really want to learn with you and have you learn from us and really accelerate your own experience based on everything that we've already learned from every other customer. So it's a really great opportunity to meet us where you are today, leverage our expertise, and we can help you meet your goals. So the call to action is to set up a discovery call and go. This Rapid Insights program is a paid engagement. We are offering for folks that follow on from this webinar a 15% discount on that charge. And so we can figure out exactly what the time duration fits best for your schedule, fits best for your goals, really what you want to capture, and then measure at the end. So that is everything we are here to talk about today. I'd like to thank Andrea, Chris, and Joe. So I guess we can move into the Q&A.
Yeah, so let's do that. Yeah, that was a quick overview, and we're happy to take any questions. This team is very experienced, as Andrea's mentioned. She's been doing these programs for some form of these programs for over 5 years. We just relaunched this program at the beginning of the year, and we're working with a bunch of different manufacturers, packaging, food and beverage, pharmaceutical, aerospace companies. So these guys have a ton of experience in digital work instructions, in AR, in hardware. Feel free to enter your questions and ask away. In the meantime, you can hit these 2 QR codes. One will help you set up a call with us, and we'll go into detail on your use cases and what you're trying to achieve. If you're interested in seeing a little bit of our software and haven't in the past, just go to the App Store and download Manifest Maker for iPad or Vision Pro or iPhone. It's a great app creation and a great way to capture this tribal knowledge and expertise. So it's free. You can download that and just get a little taste of the Taqtile software. One question that has come in is just what's the cost of these programs and what's the typical length of the engagements? So I don't know, John or Joe or Andrea, one of you guys want to cover that?
Go for it, Joe.
Yeah, I can handle that. So there's 2 programs, and they could scale in between and up if you chose to. But the 2 core programs that we structured, one is 10K, it's a 90-day program, and the other one is 40K, it's a 6-month program. So those are the 2 sort of out-of-the-box programs. However, there can be some customization in between the 2 of them just to come up with something that suits what you're looking to do. But those are the ones that are proven, and those are the ones that Andrea talked about that are very specific to what she's been delivering over the last 5 years.
Great. So another one, I know we highlighted it, but if we can talk a little bit more about the specific metrics or comparative tests that we often do within these programs.
I'll take that,
Andre,
Joe.
do you want to handle that or me? One of the two.
It depends on what kind of established baseline you have and what data is available to that. So that is another good indicator of what the KPIs or success criteria might be. So if you have well-established baselines around safety incidents, training upskill times, or time to complete a task, it's very easy to run a comparative A/B test against that data. In the absence of that data, we do have some kind of tricks that we've used historically. For example, we might time a subject matter expert or a skilled technician at performing the task without Manifest, and then give a novice access to Manifest and have them do that same task with the aid of Manifest and see what kind of time difference we can prove, error difference, any data we can glean from that. But like I said, it's conditional based on what data you have currently and how you're performing that work currently. Right now, if Manifest is the baseline, or in the absence of any baseline, we might just crowdsource feedback. We might get survey feedback. It just depends. So I think when you come to us, we would work with you to understand what problem are we trying to solve and how do we prove that we actually effectively solve that problem. And then we'd work with you to design the test against that. Does that help?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And Joe, maybe you want to just cover again, like the cost of the RIP versus the licensing, not specifically, but someone's asking, is there a monthly subscription associated with this?
Not for the RIPs. So the RIPs are just a fixed cost for either 90 days or 6 months. At the end of the 6 months or the end of the 90 days, you can then choose to acquire licenses. We have 3 different types of licenses. One is what we're calling a full license, and that one is $3,600 for the full. And then for an operator, somebody who's just going to operate and just execute work, that cost is $1,500. And then we also have a non-spatial license or remote connect license where you're just getting either connect or non-spatial. And non-spatial would just mean it operates on a desktop or operates on a tablet, but you're not getting into that additional spatial content. And those are $600 a year going forward. So what we see a lot of times is someone might have a handful of full licenses because they give you the ability to author content, do everything, administer, put together all your organizations, all of that. And then the majority of the users are going to either be an operator or they're going to be a non-spatial type user because they're just executing work out in the field or they're just following the instructions that are being assigned to them.
Great. Yeah, and a bunch more great questions coming in. Someone's asking, can they get a list of possible use cases and how well does this program deal with CTO/ETO manufacturing operations?
Sure. We have all of our use cases, actually not all of them, but quite a few of our use cases on our website. So if you just go up to taqtile.com/case studies, you can see a lot of the work that we have done in the past, and we're adding more as we go. In terms of dealing with the CTO, ETO manufacturing operations, we have been working across all different types of manufacturing, everything from pharmaceuticals to heavy machinery to robotics, etc. We're fairly confident that Manifest is a great tool in the manufacturing space, no matter what kind of flavor of manufacturing that you're doing. And because it is an enterprise-ready application, as I said, it ties into back-end systems. So if those systems require IoT sensor data to be shown to workers as they're using it, if it requires any kind of work order management, what have you, all of that can be completely tied to Manifest. So it's a kind of a process flow from that back-end system all the way through to that end operator.
Okay,
and then,
great.
Chris, I see another one here for the on-prem deployment.
Yeah.
And a little sub-question. So yes, of course, we do on-prem deployment. We do quite a bit of that for companies that are interested in a higher level of security. Certainly all of the work we do in defense is on-premise. And then the package you mentioned, does it cover creating the workflow for Manifest Maker? Absolutely. You can't do anything with Manifest unless you have content in it. So that's a big part of the RIP and really first determining what content to create. That is really where we can help with that hand-holding to work with you to determine what is going to first provide the greatest benefit and really the best bang for your buck in terms of being able to show that this is something that is going to work for you and your company. So those
Great.
are two. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. So
AI.
Yeah.
Can I take this one?
Yeah.
So I've been getting numerous inquiries from our clients interested in parties about the future of AI integration with Manifest work instructions. So have we. So the way we're thinking about AI right now is the greatest benefit with what AI can do today is around the content creation piece. it is very important that we are capturing, not just showing the what, but the how. And the how is that subject matter expertise that is sprinkled into the what. That comes from capturing that information when you're creating the content. So we have a very strong AI tool inside of Maker that makes it very easy to capture an audio track as someone is actually going through a process. They can talk about everything that they're doing in and above what the manual tells them to do. Their little insights can actually be captured inside of Maker. And then that is the work package that is then handed to someone that is less skilled for that work. Of course, moving forward, you're going to see AI in more and more of Manifest as we progress, certainly throughout this year. Right now, we are pretty focused on the content creation. Long term, I think that we can start pulling in some of the science fiction aspects of AI that people are expecting to see in a product, but we want to make sure that it is absolutely beneficial and really adheres to really putting the emphasis on the expertise that can be shared across a workforce. You can rest assured that we're going to be putting more and more AI into the product over the coming months and years.
Yeah, thanks, John, for that. So there's a couple different flavors of device questions, which not surprisingly, that always comes up. People are curious about that. We love the iPad as a starting point, but someone's specifically asking about RealWear with HoloLens going away. There's someone else asking about Vision Pro. What do we recommend?
Vision Pro, for sure. Number one. RealWear is an interesting device. We have done more than kick the tires with that device. At one point, we even had a version of Manifest in kind of an alpha, between alpha and beta, running on RealWear. And we found that it was just not suited for our application. That's to say that it won't ever be. But again, it's a little monocle for people that don't know what a RealWear is. It's a non-spatial device. It's a single camera. It's really fantastic for things like remote assistance. And potentially as that device improves, we could go back and explore whether or not maybe a non-spatial experience of Manifest would work on that device. But for the moment, we don't have plans and there's nothing in our roadmap to support RealWear today. We'd much prefer people go with an iPad and some of the head-mounted devices. Of course, we're big fans of Apple Vision Pro because it's just a wonderful device. But who knows what will happen in the future?
Great. Yeah. Who knows?
And just to add to that, we will be exploring many different devices over the years, but today we have to operate. And what we found, just working with our customers, is that scale is important. Being able to scale, one of the hardest decisions is what device do I scale on? So to make that an easier decision, it's really scaling on the devices that you have today. AR, mixed reality, these are just another way to deliver the content. And those can, down the road, if you find a device that you like and things, we're gonna be there to support that, but it has to be something that fully supports our product. To John's point, RealWear doesn't fully support our product. Hence the reason why we decided not to continue to go down that path. But that's been our methodology. We're certainly going to look at other devices as they come out, but today and probably the pretty near or long-term future, customers are going to want to actually scale with the devices they have, not with devices they're potentially trying to try out.
That's a good point. We got another question here about Microsoft, of course, discontinuing the HoloLens, asking specifically whether or not they should purchase an Apple Vision Pro. I'm sure our friends at Apple who are on this call would encourage me to say absolutely yes. But again, it's a great device. You just need to determine what your use case is. We are absolutely thrilled that Apple is in the spatial computing world and have made a very strong commitment with the Apple Vision Pro. And so we're seeing quite a few customers come to us with a lot of interest in that device, and quite a few of them are using it with Manifest. I would say to answer the question, is there something it's posed as future safe? I think what we've learned in this spatial computing space, nothing is future safe. It's fantastic that we're seeing more and more companies, really big, important, well-funded companies throwing their hat in the ring because they see the value in augmented reality, spatial computing. So I think I'd encourage folks to join us on this journey. We have an excellent set of tools and devices that can support your use cases today. Once we get started, we're here for the long term. As newer devices come in on the market, echoing what Joe said, the best device for that use case moving forward might be not be the one you start with today, but if you're on the journey, you already have all your content. You already have all that subject matter expertise captured within Manifest. And we can actually just put that on that next device that works for you.
Great.
So, Chris, I know we have someone who's raising their hand, but I think they need to put their question in the Q&A.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so for the individual that has their hand raised. Okay, I've got one here. I'm sorry, I'm hamming it up here. Does anyone else want to take these questions?
This is the European one for you.
All right. Hey, Dave, I actually know this guy. What device is ATEX IS certified that you've seen used that works well with Manifest? None. There are no devices unless they are a ruggedized device like an iPad. ATEX Zone 1, Zone 2 requires a case. So far, there really hasn't been any device on the market that is a true spatial head-mounted device. Perhaps RealWear did something in this. I'm not sure what their ATEX certification was. I think at one point they had it. But right now, the closest thing we can get to an ATEX certified device for Zone 1, Zone 2 is a hardened or cased.
Great.
Okay.
John, one thing I would just underscore with iPad is one thing that we've matured at as well is just helping consult you guys on recommendations too that might be helpful to making your iPad ruggedized or hands-free. So again, to the earlier points of leveraging the devices that are available to you today, that's another service that we can help support you guys in terms of making a consultative effort to say, okay, if this procedure needs hands-free, these are potential devices that can help enable iPad for that use case. Same with ruggedization, right? If you need support in getting these devices ruggedized, we can help with that as well.
Right. And I was at an Apple event a couple of months ago, and our booth was right next to one of the newer folks that are offering ruggedized cases for iPads. And their product was absolutely incredible. So we could take that offline. I'd love to work with you on that, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have other device questions, if you have any questions about Manifest, Taqtile, this Rapid Insights program, feel free to hit this QR code, send us an email. We'll set up a call. We'll talk through the details, answer any of your questions, talk a little bit about the devices we're using internally or with other customers. Happy to share what we see working for folks. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending this webinar. Thanks, John, Joe, Andrea. Great presentation. And thank you. Until next time, we appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Cheers.